Good morning. Welcome to Cosmic Compass Conversations. Thank you so much for joining me. It's been a while. I'm really grateful that you're here. And for those of you that are listening later, thank you so much for joining us in the ethers, as I like to call it. I'm looking forward to today's conversation with a guest. It's been a while, both for both of the conversations, but also for having a guest. So I'm really happy to be here. First and foremost, as we always do, we're going to do a bit of breathing and kind of just get ourselves centered and connected and bringing energy in through these beautiful bodies that we have. So, if you'd like to join me, if you're in a position where you can join me, we'll do a little bit of breathing. First and foremost, again, do what's comfortable for you. If you can close your eyes and want to close your eyes, you can. And just feel your body, feel your energy, feel your points of contact physically where you are. And if it's comfortable, feel your connection to your feet. And we're just going to start there today, and we're just going to breathe in through the feet, expanding the belly, and exhaling. Feeling the earth beneath our feet and thanking the earth and breathing in up through the belly, up through the soles of the feet and into the belly. And exhaling when you're ready. Just allowing this beautiful connection to the earth, feeling your roots, thanking your ancestors, thanking all those who have come before, and breathing in this support from the earth up through the soles of the feet. And exhaling. And just seeing if your jaw and shoulders, hips can relax a little bit. And breathing in, up from the earth, up through the soles of the feet, expanding the belly. And exhaling, relaxing jaw and shoulders, hips. And when you're ready, just bringing your awareness back here. And from this place, I'm going to pull some cards, and then I'm going to talk about the astrology, and then I'm going to bring on our wonderful guest. So I'm really excited about that. Thank you all for being here. So excited. Okay. All right. So 3 cards for this week. The first card, and again, the way we do this in Cosmic Compass is just to give you time. See if it'll to give you time to sort of look at the card and find your own narrative, find your own story. What's happening in this card for you? What do you notice? What do you see? How do you feel? This will be our first card for this week. And just allow yourself a minute. There are traditional meanings for this card. I feel it will be important for me to say something about this, so I'll come back to it. But I did want to feel like Vanna. Here's your card. Here's your card. um, and yeah, I have pulled this card myself many a time, so I will share a little bit more. But yes, it is a new one for us here, which is kind of nice. It's like a press the reset button. Okay, next card. This one we get all the time. We should probably do a deep dive into this because this is one of the cards that keeps coming and coming and coming. And again, best thing to do right now is your own narrative, your own story. What do you see? What do you feel? What do you notice? Nine of Wands has its, traditional meanings. Wands is the element of fire, the element of creativity, the element of life force. Okay. Yeah, we'll need to do a deep dive at some point into that card, especially if it comes up another time. I mean, I think it's been 10 times. All right, last card for this week. We get this one quite a lot. Well, I think we have a theme for sure, at least elementally. This is Ace of Wands. Let me see if I love this card. This is one of my favorite art cards. And you guys know what I like to do with this card, right? I like to just be like, okay, there we go, right there. I like to just make it my face, right? All right. So again, how do you feel? What do you notice? What's happening? And it is, I mean, we are building in the wands here. So we do have the element of creativity, fire, life force energy, lots of energy, right? And we are definitely in Leo. I was going to mention, I looked at today's chart just as we were starting, literally, and you're going to love this. The sun's at 11 degrees Leo and the moon's at 11 degrees Aries. So they're both in fire. They're in a trine at 11:11. So for those of us that like to look at those little signs, let's call that a good one, shall we? Let's do that with some intention for what's coming. So as I look at the week and again, there's obviously been a lot going on. Jupiter has moved a little bit, taking the basket just a little bit, not quite as intense. Um, Neptune and Pluto and Uranus. Uranus has moved just a bit too, but Neptune and Pluto are still at the 4 degrees. Uranus is at 5. So, the basket's it's starting to change a little bit. I think the most significant thing will be the Pluto retrograde. And I mean, there's always so many more things that could be significant. I would think you know, actually, and also Chiron retrograde, just a few things. So, what I would say about those two is there's definitely an intensity that the intensity is not leaving us. So, let's be clear the intensity is with us, and that's okay because what we are learning, as I said in my email, is our soul's journey, right? The nodes have just changed. So we are on a journey of a soul evolution. Is that something we are enjoying? Well, yes and no. I mean, I think that we would say it's a mixed bag at the moment for a lot of us. I won't go into my own personal journey in this moment, but I can tell you that I'm very happy to be here, and it's taking quite a lot of energy to do so, as you well know. So that's okay. We've got our wands. We have our wands for energy, right? So we're going to be bathed in this energy. So when I look at it, and I look at Chiron, I look at Pluto, I think healing. I think healing energy. I think being aware of what's possible for us when we do a deep dive into our healing, when we do a deep dive into connecting to the body, the Taurian energy, right? How we connect to the earth, how we connect to the creatures of the earth, how we connect to ourselves. And Pluto just keeps asking us, how much deeper can you go? How much more do you want to evolve? How much more is there? And I would say there's a lot more. We are in a profound time, and I'm fascinated by everything that's happening, which is to say that many of us, and I mean really seriously, many of us are on grief journeys right now. it is actually profound how many people have experienced some great losses over this last month in particular. So grief is a journey and it ebbs and flows, as we all know. Um, and so I think the planets right now are just saying, how can we be clear and connect to ourselves and deepen into that personal and collective journey? It's not just a personal journey, it is literally a collective journey as well. So there's more to say, but I think I just really want to get to the conversation because our conversation we can really talk about healing. So I'm going to bring Shea into the spotlight with me. And Shea, you're going to unmute yourself and we're going to start in on this amazing conversation. So Shay, I like to have people just share whatever you want to share about yourself and about your journey. But since we're talking about healing, and this is really the work that you do, I can't wait to hear more of your journey around how you came to be who you are and what you have to offer, and any thoughts you have, like just insights, your intuition. You're extremely intuitive about how we might deepen into our collective healing right now, if you have some. No pressure, but just curious.
Um, Gosh.
Okay, so
I don't-
I know that was a lot. So why don't we start with Shay? Welcome. Thanks for being here. Why don't you say a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Okay.
Okay.
Uh, thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome.
I was so excited. I feel a little scattered today because I just, a lot of just different little things.
Yeah.
Um, Hi, everybody. My name is Shay, and I, I'm not really good at talking about myself. I'm a craniosacral practitioner, and there's a couple of different ways, concepts in craniosacral. There's biomechanical and biodynamic. I do a blend of both depending on what comes up. And I'm human trained. I went through a 2-year, 10 level program. I mostly work on horses, though. They've been a part of my life, my whole life. And I had a training barn, and I started working on them when I was training and saw a big difference. I got my first craniosacral session in 1989.
For
I
yourself?
was for myself.
Wow.
I was 22, I
Hmm.
think, at the time, and it completely changed like I walked out of that session and something had shifted in
I
me.
love that. Can we start there as to
Hmm.
like, because, you and I know what cranial sacral, probably everyone here knows about cranial sacral, but maybe not. And so let's not assume that everyone knows what that means. I certainly didn't until I had my first one.
Yeah, you almost just have to have a session in order to really understand because it's difficult to explain and just our common language every day that we use. We don't talk about these things, the internal rhythms and
Mhm.
how our physiology relies on a connection to nature.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
I, well, I was, I guess to talk about that shift in me, I was pretty shut down before
Hmm.
that session
Hmm.
because, well, I'd gone through some significant trauma at a
Yeah.
young age. I
Yeah.
lost my mother, was killed in an accident, and that kind of just shattered who
Mm.
I was.
Yeah.
And because that of that age and
Mhm.
not really understanding. And that first craniosacral session brought me back to who I was.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it just kind of started that path of, oh, I was a whole person
Mhm.
before.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. I just want to stay with that for a moment. Like this was a biomechanical or was it biodynamic or both?
I think I suspect, now that I know what I know,
Yeah.
I suspect that she trained with Hugh Milne, who he did a visionary type
Mhm.
uh, of craniosacral. He was a very special, or is a very special human, and probably a blend
Mhm.
of both.
Yeah.
I didn't know what she was doing. I mean, she was just literally barely touching me, and I just
Right.
went off into.
And that's, I think, something we want to share, right? That it is literally this holding, right? Now, did
Hmm.
she hold your head and your sacrum at the same time? Did she move around? Do you remember how the
Yeah,
session?
she moved around,
Hmm. Yeah.
not quickly.
Hmm.
Usually the contacts are uh, slow, like
Hmm.
one contact for quite a while. Then the practitioner may move.
Yeah.
When I'm doing it, I just move to where I feel called to go to next.
Yeah. Yeah. It's an extraordinary, I remember my first cranial sacral experience as well. And it was very powerful. And I was much older than you were, but I understand what you're saying about like the coming back to the wholeness. And to me, that is a profound experience and something that as we're unraveling trauma, particularly, it needs to be gentle. So I could see, given who you are, why you'd be drawn to study that. So I'm assuming, did you start studying right away or did you wait or how did that unfold?
No, I had no idea then that I would be doing what I'm doing now.
Wow. Wow.
I always sought out that type of body work. I didn't even know what it was called.
Okay.
I would have to call my sister and say, "What was that called again?" Because she
Interesting.
was the one who told
That's
me about
ironic.
it.
That's great. I love it.
Yeah. And then yeah, if someone had told me, "Oh, you will be doing this in however many years, 25 years," I would think they were crazy. Um, yeah, I would always seek it. I was taking art classes and I was obsessed with drawing the sutures where the cranium bones join.
Was it an anatomy art class or was this just something you wanted to
No,
do on your own?
well, I did a lot of it on my own. Like
That's
I would
amazing.
just find a skull of some animal. I have all these animal skulls, and I would spend hours doing those little squiggly lines.
Okay, Ella, can we just take a moment and say to all of us for a moment that very often when we are drawn to something like that, and literally in your case, you're drawing what you're drawn to, um, it's usually a sign.
Yeah,
It's usually a sign. So let's just put that out there that it's amazing. I mean, it's extraordinary actually. I love this
yeah.
part. Yeah.
'Cause,
I love
yeah,
it.
even then, if someone would have told me, "Oh, you'll be working on people's skulls in 25 years," I would be like, "Oh, you're crazy."
That
Um,
is so interesting.
and I was raised with the idea that intuitive communication was normal.
Oh, that's good. Yes. I mean,
So
it's
the
easier, I should
women,
say. Not good or bad, just easier. Yeah.
yeah, the women in my family were connected that way.
Hmm.
So, like my mother, if she wanted to talk to her cousin, who was like her age, they were best friends,
Hmm.
she would say, "Oh, I need to get in touch with Barbara. I'm gonna go think about her for a while," and then she would call.
Right. This is
So
before the
that
era of cell phones, people, just so we're
yeah,
clear.
this was
Yeah.
yeah, we didn't even have our own phone line. We used a party line. So it was
Wow.
really hard to get in touch with people.
Yeah.
And then, my grandparents, they were out on their farm all day, so it was just normal for
Yeah.
us
So
to
she would
do that.
literally just tune in when she needed to talk to someone, and then they would call her.
Yeah.
That's really awesome.
Yeah.
I
So I
think
was
a lot
taught
of
it.
us have done that. And actually, those of us who grew up in the era without cell phones, I think we did this all the time because it was just a way, and actually remember well, obviously you remember the pre-answering machine era that where you couldn't even leave a message.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the
You had to
thing.
tune in.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we always knew who was calling.
Yeah.
And we would joke. I could tell by the way the phone's ringing.
There you go. I
But
love
how many
that.
times did we
Yeah.
answer the phone and say, hi, whoever it was,
Yeah.
because we just knew.
I love that. So that was the norm growing up. And at least, was there, beyond that, was there talk about how that worked or just that that was just how we do things?
Yeah, it was just normal.
Okay. I love that. I love that. Shay and I have talked several different times about many different things. And one of the things that I've told Shay many times is that she reminds me so much of women I've met who come from healing families, like whose like grandmothers were healers or and like known in their community. Do you know if any of your ancestors, maybe even your mom, but were healers or thought of as the women that people in the community would go to if they needed something?
Um, my grandmother, um, she always kind of knew what to do.
Amazing. Amazing. Yeah. And there are different, I mean, because I've had so many different people on Cosmic Compass, so there's like a variety of people to choose from. But I'm thinking about my friend Michelle, who we had on for her book, A Song of Belonging, and woven into her book are some ancestral stories of the Louisiana um, women who were healers in their communities and this sort of knowing and this gentle and powerful knowing, not always discussed though beyond some of these things, right? Like not like big discussions on let's go to the other side and visit so and so, or let's develop our intuition, or there wasn't those kinds of conversations, I don't think, in her family at all. Just this like an acknowledgement more. So I'm guessing that might be similar in yours.
Yes, yeah, and like my grandmother was known to be intuitive.
Mhm.
Like we knew nothing could get by her because she would just know. And it was common for people in my family to, and my grandfather used to go um, up to Alaska and Canada and hang out with the Inuit
Mhm.
tribal
Mhm.
communities.
Mhm.
And he spent time with the Amazon tribal communities, and he was fascinated with their ways of being.
Wow,
And
that's a wow.
and it was normal for like people to see, we knew that there was a tribal community that lived on my grandmother's land, and it was not uncommon for someone to see a you know someone from the
From
past.
before, someone
Yeah.
from before, those who
Yeah.
walked the land before us.
Yes.
Got it. Okay. That makes so much sense. I'm not surprised, I guess, given what you're sharing. Where did your grandmother live or grow up?
And East Texas,
Okay. So, and that's where, are you currently in East or West Texas?
North.
North
Hmm.
Texas.
Yeah, Texas is
Okay.
big, so
Texas is huge. It's like its own country in a lot of ways.
it
So,
is with its different little areas that
mhm.
are all so unique. And
They are. Well, Shay, I love hearing these family stories and I love hearing about the early support in a way for you being who you are. I mean, I think that makes such a huge difference. And a lot of people don't have that kind of foundation really to go forward. But if we kind of fast forward through your life, what you're doing now, as you said, was not something you would have ever thought of before. So what changed? When did you make that transition? And what were you doing before?
well, I was a flight attendant for a long
I
time.
didn't know that. Oh my
You
gosh.
didn't?
No, I didn't know that. I think I forgot. That's amazing.
Yeah,
Wow. Okay.
that's
So,
that's what I was doing when I had my first cranial session. I was living in San Francisco,
oh,
and
that's right. You did tell me that. I do remember
yeah,
that.
I was
Yeah.
flying all over the world.
Yeah.
Um, and then I retired. I actually got to take an early retirement and ended up with this horse facility in Santa Cruz, and that's where I
Right.
was. Yeah, I was working. I was training and teaching lessons, and that's when I started learning the equine cranial classes.
Yeah.
And yeah, and it just resonated with me. And I'd taken a lot of different um massage and different techniques, and this one just resonated with me. And when I moved to Texas, the first thing I did was look up a craniosacral practitioner. And I found someone who taught it, and he's like the most versed person I've ever met in the
Amazing.
field because he studied with all the big and as a teacher, and he said I could take his classes. And
And there you were in Texas, which is, back to family roots. And I mean, Texas has roots in it, but that's a lot of kind of coming back around to that that place and that time. We do have a question about who was your original teacher? Who was that person?
his name is Ryan Halford,
Okay,
and I've brought him around. We've actually co-taught some classes together.
that's great.
Yeah, when I first started teaching, I needed um, someone to hold my hand.
Of course, we all do.
Yeah, it was
This is,
scary.
yeah, yeah.
Um, and we co-taught some classes, and now he's actually doing some horse stuff. He was just in Colorado doing a little workshop there.
I noticed that actually. I've been
Oh,
tracking.
you did?
I did. I've been tracking these things. I'm not trying. They've just been coming along my path, which is pretty interesting. Um, that these things will just kind of show up randomly, but not. It's like the universe saying, let's really talk about healing and let's talk about this particular modality is something that's very, very near and dear to your heart. And I guess what I would also like to kind of drop into at this point is so you were learning about people because it was something that happened for you and to you, and you trained that way. Um, when did you start to see that connection to horses? It must have been pretty early, I'm guessing. Um,
Yes. Well, I've took a couple of equine classes when I had my place in Santa Cruz.
I figured.
And that's what got me going. It's very, very basic
Yeah.
stuff. And I wanted to do a deep dive
Yes.
in it.
Okay.
And so what I love about this modality is it really focuses on it focuses on our internal drive for health.
Hmm.
So our body is always seeking health,
Yeah.
and it emphasizes practitioner connecting to that.
Yeah.
that internal,
Yes.
drive we have through connecting with nature,
Yeah.
because there's different rhythms within our body, but there's also, it's been called a lot of different things, the ether, the quantum field.
Yeah.
Um, in the cranial world, we call it primary respiration, and it's this field that we live in that connects all.
Yeah.
And that's what we connect to before we even start a session.
Yeah.
And the body of whether it's a horse or a human recognizes it
Yeah. Yeah.
because it's where we all are are together, and it's where our it's where our deep rhythms of health live.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it kind of helps the body let go of the external noise that is either stuck, trapped from a
Hmm.
past experience, or,
Hmm.
that's in there that no longer needs to be,
Hmm.
and brings everything back to the present
Hmm.
moment, and that deep connection to ourselves.
Yes. And everything you're saying is so profound to me right now, personally, just that tapping into that rhythm. And I'm going to just bring in the cards just for a minute, just because it's very interesting. Um, this is the card I would say is the practitioner getting ready to, drop in and connect, because the wands are very much about that life force and that natural healing energy, right? And this, this card, without giving away too much, because I always want people to have their own experience, but this is people helping each other, particularly out of places that bring anxiety. This card has a big connection to anxiety and stress. And so the idea behind this card is that we help each other. That these are now, there are different versions of this card where people are not helping each other. This is the version where they are helping each other. So, this is the reminder that we can do this within ourselves and we can also help each other. This is the reminder to get deeply centered and connected, right? And I feel like this is like being aware of the journey ahead, like trusting the journey, like she's ready, right? To go. Um, you do so many things. I mean, I think they're all centered around these ideas for sure. And these skills and tools that you have. I'd love for you, God, for those of you that don't know Shea, Shea, when Shea has something to share, definitely listen and definitely read it, because there's so much amazing. I mean, your words, the way you articulate things, you're so good at it. And you know of what you speak. Like this is what you've been doing now for a really long time, over and over and over. And would love to hear anything you would like to share about how your work is evolving or where you are going, especially at this time where we're in a time of a lot of change and transformation. Is there something you would like to share about what you're doing now, what you hope to be doing in the future?
Um, Gosh, well, first of all, thank you for that. That
It's
was
true, though. I mean, you're welcome, and it's true.
I can I'm not always good at articulating verbally things. I'm better at writing them
You are a
down.
good writer. Yes.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
And I did actually write a couple of I call them ebooks.
Mhm.
And I was writing some stuff just for my business page, and I thought I would put them all together and um, put them in the form of an ebook. And one of them is uh, basically, they're not how-to books,
Right.
but they're more of how to get into the mindset and find your own connection
Yeah,
to the deep internal rhythms that come from nature.
right. I
And
love this.
in the one book, I titled it Equine Biodynamics, The Deep Rhythms of Health. And I basically go through all the different concepts
Mhm.
in the biodynamic field of, you know, the things we talk about in classes, like finding the neutral, which is a very powerful place to be because
Yes.
you're not getting caught up in the stories and um, how to connect to your own intuition.
Yes.
You know, there's a lot of that in this book. How to listen for
Yeah.
wholeness around you. Um, and then the other book is I call The Sacred Architecture of the Horse. And
That's so cool.
I go through anatomy, but from a different perspective.
Mhm.
Um, the embryological origin of the bone, the energetic remnants of how it was formed, um, how they communicate with each other,
Mhm.
what emotions may come out in different areas. And I go through a lot of the bones and some of the soft tissue as well, like the sacrum and how it comes from the word sacred and um, ancient cultures from all over the world, completely different areas who were not communicating with each other, called this the sacred bone.
Of course, right?
Yeah, so it talks about I go through, I don't even remember how many bones I go through, but anyway, those were fun projects I worked on. And I don't know if I'll print them. I might just keep them as ebooks. It seems uh, comfortable right now.
Yes, I know sometimes we're being pushed a little out of our comfort zones, but I think it is really important to stop and acknowledge that these books are your work, and bringing them into form. It doesn't matter if they're in a printed form, but they're in a form which people would like to know, and somebody answered that, so we're good. Thank you. So we're good. I'll make sure I put your website on the YouTube so people can find the ebooks. This is
Oh,
good.
thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah, and my intention was to bring a message to the world that we are all special
Mhm.
and we all have this within us.
Yeah, yeah.
And it gets lost or it gets atrophied or and our bodies are special. We're not just body parts that are put together.
Yeah,
We're whole beings that our our whole body was in the energy field before it started forming.
yeah,
It was and that knowledge is in our fluids. Our whole fluid body knows what our original blueprint is, our original design. It's there, it's within us, and we can all find that. And I think it's important that people people know this with their hearts and that's why I wanted to, you know, put this stuff together.
Yay, I'm so glad. As you were speaking, I just was feeling so much emotion. And I think, having you be here on this day at this time during this, this intensity that we're moving through collectively and individually, when you were talking about that, we have it within us to remember, that our fluids remember, that we have in there that, and, we've had other people on here who have said similar things, and so we know it must be true. Um, so there's this reminder, and I'm very aware, having gone through my own journey and still on the journey right now of healing, Um, how nonlinear it is, number one. There's not a linear approach to any of this, that there is something different. And I think your word rhythm really made sense to me. Like there's a rhythm to healing. And I've been very fortunate because my partner knows how to do cranial work. And so
Nice.
sacral. So I'm very fortunate to have someone who can hold those points. And it is, I will just say, um, pretty magical. I'd love to share if it's okay with you. I'd like to share a little story just from my own journey of last month. The first time David was holding the points, it was wild. And I had no expectations. I was just trying, relaxing. And that was maybe a week and a half to 2 weeks after the surgery. So we waited you don't want to go in right away and necessarily and start working with all this. So we waited a good amount of time. And I, I swear to you, as he's working, I could feel the surgery itself unwinding. And
Mm.
I could literally feel where people had had their hands on my body.
Wow.
Yeah. And I have had enough of this kind of work to know not to freak out. Like I knew, don't freak out. This is good. This is a good thing. This is great because it's the body saying, you know what, I need to release some of this. I need to let go of this. So every time he's done this, something else has unwound, basically. And I don't know if you could say that in a different way, but that's how I explain it. Like it's just, I, it's wild. I'll feel something that I know was something that happened that I have obviously no conscious memory of, but my body. I know they say when you're under anesthesia, you will never remember anything that happens. This is what they say, right? I don't think that's true entirely. I think the body must have some other scope of memory that we don't. I don't know. I don't know if I'm just making that up, but that's how I feel. The body remembers. That's my.
It the body does remember, and I believe it's from the fluid body
Okay.
because we know how special with all the studies that have been going on, we know how special water is,
Yeah.
how water can hold memory,
Yeah.
and we're molecularly 99% water, and this water is coherent.
Coherent.
And yeah,
Yeah.
and it's there's been a lot of studies on this. And when an area loses its coherence, that's where um, stuff can happen, stuff can go wrong. But the water has a memory. I think that's where a lot of our biological memory
Mhm.
is. And when you're doing cranial and these things come up, either when I'm working on somebody and I get a flash of something that they went through,
Yeah.
or the person says, this happened during my session. That to me, that stuff that's in the field that's moving on.
Yeah.
It's being it's leaving the field that you're
It's
that's why it comes out.
extraordinary. Okay, I have a big question that nobody needs to have an answer to. It's just me posing something for all of us to think about, okay? So my big thought is I've I've often felt that we individuals are part of a bigger body of sorts, and that because I feel like when something happens on the other side of the world, so many of us feel it, even if we don't consciously know that something has happened. And then we find out later, kind of like the phone call, but on a bigger scale. And I wonder, and this is just a wondering, if we can apply some of what you know or all of what you know to this idea of as I heal or work with my own, I'm also able to that there's something beyond me that is also healing, which would be a very Pluto Chiron. That's like the astrology of today. So it is that we are dynamically and physically, but we are energetically healing within ourselves, but also are we not contributing? I think we are contributing to this other bigger energetic of the human or the animals or the earth. I don't know what you think, but this is my thought.
Yeah, like the collective.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, and as we heal, even if as we heal the way we think,
Hmm.
that that makes the collective a better collective.
It does. I certainly know my mood. If my mood is needing a little adjustment, let's just say, I mean, I don't want to necessarily interact with other people if I'm in a mood that needs an adjustment. I need to take that time to do that so that I'm not putting that energy any further than it needs to go. At least that's from a personal place. But I also feel like, and these are things that I don't have a lot of words for yet, maybe. But as I went through my own journey and as I go through this journey, I think, may this change me so that I shift and am able to do more within the world, and may it guide me to what's next. And I feel that that's connecting to the collective in a different way than what we're talking about. But again, like we're all connected somehow.
Yes, totally.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
And I think the best way to heal even ourselves is to focus on health.
Yeah.
We live in a world where we focus on what's wrong.
Mm.
Oh,
Yeah.
this is wrong, I have to fix it. This is wrong, I have to heal it.
Hmm.
Instead of expanding out and looking, where's the health?
Mm.
And
I like it.
how can we expand the health?
Okay, which is really what you're talking about. That is what this technique does, is it expands the health.
Yes.
All right. I like this. This is the juiciness of our conversation. Where is the health? And so, gosh, I have so many questions for you. Do you want to say any more about that?
Um, uh, I don't know. I mean I could well I'll give a quick example.
Okay.
I was teaching a class one time, and this was a while ago, where I used to do assessments. Like I would teach people how to assess the horse.
Hmm.
And we were at a barn where the horses got a lot of body work.
Hmm.
And every horse that came out, they came out with a laundry list of what's wrong.
Oh, right.
And I was like, I don't like this.
Hmm.
And this one horse comes out all bright, like, look at all the people here.
Yeah.
And they start rattling off the laundry list. He's got this problem and that problem, and he cribs and he keeps going lame and he has ulcers and his back gets sore and you could just see the horse like shutting
Oh.
down. And I was like, okay, time out. Not doing this anymore. I'm never doing this again.
Yeah.
So so now when we don't even go there. And people, when I go see people, they always want to tell me, you know, what's wrong with the horse.
Hmm.
And so I'm trying to just shift what's going right,
Hmm.
what's well with the horse, you know,
Hmm.
what's
Yeah.
and I think we could also use that for ourselves. Where
Yes.
do I feel good today? Where in my body do I feel good?
I 100% agree. Do you remember, I can't remember the name of the book, but Carolyn Mace, back when she wrote one of her first books, and she talked about how humans tend to bond around where the wounds are. Like, oh, I feel bad too, or oh, I don't, my back hurts too, or whatever,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And her response to that was kind of similar, not quite as gently articulate, I think, as yours. But just that idea of where can we find the good? Where can we connect that's healthier? And that is a good question. It's not denying that there might be things that are hurting or whatever, but I love that idea of it beginning from that place of what's going well. I love that. So good. So, so good. Okay. Practical questions, Shay. Um, I mean, I am drawn to read the book on horse, the sacred anatomy of the horse, and I don't have a horse. I don't ride horses. I'm not around horses, but somehow I feel drawn to it. Why am I feeling drawn? What is in that book that is calling to me as a non, I people say I can't call myself a non-horse person anymore, but as someone who doesn't have horses or is around them.
Well, it's really not just about horses. I
Very
mean,
true.
this anatomy and the way we're formed is can can be applied to all of us.
Okay. That's why I'm drawn to it because I really want to read that book. So that, and Shay, I'm just going to say this from an astrology place and knowing where the nodes are going and the fact that the nodes just shifted. Be mindful that someone may want that book in a printed form. You may not be the one to self-publish it. It might want to be published. And the book itself may want to reach even more people. So just be ready and open to the possibilities that those books might want to go into the world in different forms. But I do really want to acknowledge how much effort, work, time, love went into creating those books. So thank you.
Yeah, it was years of formulating, not planning on doing it.
No.
Like it was all just a recent thing that I
Yeah.
thought maybe I'll do this.
Yeah,
So I
and
did
here
it.
they are. Maybe I'll do this. So, Shay, retreats, classes, courses, what are you offering right now?
Um, right now, I also just released a level 3 class,
Hmm.
and that one is on the level 1 was just basic intro,
Hmm.
basic contacts, the bones of the skull and the sacrum. And then level 2, I zeroed in on the TMJ and sphenobasilar fault patterns. And then level 3, I got more biodynamic, and we're doing blood, um, the heart, the fluid body, and the visceral field. So not specific organs. I decided to do them all as one
Can anyone
deal.
take how does anyone even take these courses? How does this work, Shay?
Well, I have them online. So everything I teach in person, I put online. I just recorded the lectures and then I recorded me doing the stuff with the horses.
Okay. Okay.
And then I do offer in-person classes. It just depends. They're hard classes to find a venue for.
Mm,
And there's a venue in Fort Worth that it's at a YMCA camp that I do, but it
mhm.
has to be off season, so
Okay.
falls, winter.
Okay.
And I'm waiting to hear back from them about dates and
Mhm.
if their prices stay the same for me and all that
Do you
stuff.
ever travel? Is that anything you do? Not at this point. Okay. Next
No.
question. All right. How do people, okay, I've got two more questions because I'm trying to get us to get enough in before 11. Um, how do people get a hold of you? How do they follow? How do they find out? They just go to the website. Do you have a place for them to put in their contact information?
Yes, I have a new website and
Okay.
there is a email, like you can put your email in.
Okay, great.
And I'm still, I just asked the web guy, what happens now?
Like,
Emails,
what happens next? Okay,
like
good.
what
All
do,
right. Where do those emails go?
yeah,
Great. Okay.
how do I
All right.
access them?
Yeah. Work in
You can,
progress, but definitely people they can reach out to you for sure.
yes, they can
Okay.
also just email me too.
Okay.
Um, Shea, SHEA at equinebalance.net.
Yeah. Okay. And I'll put that
Or
in the follow-up. No?
actually that email is not set up.
Okay.
So never mind on that one.
Okay. You can put it in the chat when you figure it
Okay.
out. Okay.
Okay.
Or I'll put it in the follow-up. Okay. So
Okay. Sorry.
how I have a big question, and this is a question I'm going to be asking every guest from now on. What is a big vision, if you're willing to share, even a small portion of a big vision that we can hold with you as a community that wants to support you going forward? Do you have something? And you don't have to share the big, big things because sometimes those have to stay close. But is there anything you would like us to hold with you for your future, with your work, with anything?
Oh gosh. I wouldn't even know how to answer that.
Okay. You could
I
think
mean,
about it.
what I do love about the work is that I think it's important for all of humanity.
Mhm. Yeah.
Even just the concepts and walking through life with these concepts.
Yeah.
So maybe that.
That all of humanity can find their way to learn even a little bit of how to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if it's just how to um stay more connected to nature, the natural world.
Very
We're moving into all this technology and artificial lights and artificial intelligence, and
good. Mhm.
um, I think it's important that we remember this our connection to this earth, and not just, we've been taught to fear the sun, but we actually need the sun. We need it for our health.
Yeah.
We've been, so there's so many things like that
Yeah.
the whole quantum biology world, bringing people back to nature, um, bringing people back to health, back to our mindset, how um, we can find a way to be more positive, and I don't even know what I'm saying.
No, I get it. You're saying beautiful things, and I feel your very deep commitment and your very deep passion for how do I want to say this? I mean, I'm gonna make I'm gonna say it the way I'm feeling it, how we can save our planet and how we can save ourselves. And there's is that a little doggy? It looks like a little doggy.
Oh, yeah, that's my new one. Was it a
Oh,
little? Yeah, it's like we're in our third week. Isn't she cute?
oh, she's adorable. So, yeah, so I think having this connection, dropping in, deepening, I know many of us would love to learn with you, from you. I'd like to put out there as we head to the top of the hour. Um, at some point, I would love to see you leading retreats. Um, and I know you've done it in the past in different ways, workshops, clinics, but retreats. But I will keep it, private, but there's a new place I would like you to be leading retreats at some point. So we'll keep that a mystery for now, people. But there is, I just feel your devotion to this. And I feel that we could all use just even being together in that type of energy would be really healing for everyone. So thank you for being on the planet.
Well, thank you. Thank you for inviting me. This was fun.
I'm glad it was
Mm.
fun. And I'm glad that you could wait a bit. This was going to be earlier, but obviously life changed. And
Yeah, it
but it
happens
felt,
when
yeah, it felt good it feels good right now to be speaking about healing and returning to the life force. And I guess I'll just say this on a personal note. having the death of a beloved family member in many ways, there's a lot about grief again, about how it just has its own ebbs and flows. But I know from my own experiences in the other realms that for me, as I see it, the soul is returning to this natural sort of fluidity, if you will. That's even something bigger than being here in a body, So it's everything you're saying feels really similar and familiar from the places I've been spending a lot of time and just what I've been seeing and what I've been reminded of over these last many weeks of where the soul can be and where it can go when we're done here. So, and we actually have several people on this call that know this intimately. They will be on Cosmic Compass very soon. So there will be more discussion of this in
Oh,
the
I love those talks.
oh, you're gonna get some, don't you worry.
Yeah, I love
Um,
those. There's actually really quick, can I share something?
yes.
There's actually so the biodynamic osteopaths have labeled the different tidal tides that are in our system that come up during a session. And there's one called the embodiment tide.
Mm.
And it happens when the session goes really deep. And they describe it as, and I've felt it with horses, and they describe it as before we're embodied, we're in this state of expansion. And then conception happens, and or, whenever that timing is that we move into form, that can actually be traumatic
Yeah.
because we go from this, expansive state to compressed.
Yeah.
And sometimes there's a traumatic event happening along with that,
Sometimes there is. Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so there's actually a healing moment for that, and they call it the embodiment tide. And that's when the person is actually working on that
Wow.
moment
Yeah. Well, we
when
do have someone actually live in our call today in our circle who actually works very distinctly in those realms. So hopefully she
nice.
will grant me uh, the time for being on Cosmic Compass in the very near future once her book is finished being edited and cleared and out there in the world. So there is so much to talk about with all of this, and I love that there's all the connections. Like it makes sense. They're all connected. So. Shay, thank you. This is so fun. All right,
Thank
I'm
you.
gonna end the recording and then we're gonna just bring everybody back in here.